Hey lovers, welcome to Sacred Soulmates. I am your goddess Euphoria. Happy Gratitude Day. I hope you guys are having a good one. Over here we celebrate sacred love, divine union, which begins within. It starts with the marriage of feminine and masculine energies within yourself. Only once you find something within yourself can you ever see it manifested outside of yourself. So once you have that balance of feminine and masculinity within, that self-love, once you mirror the Most High God's energy within your own vessel, whatever the Most High God may be to you, whatever your higher power is, once you find that and have that soul awakening, only then can you see it projected outside of yourself in the form of a soul mate connection, as opposed to when you're still kind of broken within and light is projected onto you, and now you're seeing refractions of your own energy played out in the form of like karmic twin flames and such. The second video on this channel explains further what I'm talking about here, but just getting into my reading style, I read on the chakra points from the crown chakra to the root chakra. And I know there are other chakras beyond that, but I keep it mainstream so everybody can get some. The reading is crowned with destiny. So I'm getting like decisions are being made, fates are being sealed. Father Time or Saturn or Kronos or whatever name you call it, if you go by like, Anunnaki deities, ancient Sumerian, Assyrian, Mesopotamian, Arabic, whatever your custom culture or whatever is, they're all just faces of God. So, whoever you look to, whatever your worship is, I'm all inclusive with that aspect. I don't overtalk nobody, OG, because it was something here before all of us, and I'm not trying to overtalk nothing that was here before all of us. It's something about rankings, hierarchy. Somebody is the clear winner. Okay. What I was saying, I was issuing like a warning, or, just saying, telling my littles to be careful. So something about being careful, or you were careful with your decisions. You're weighing the pros and cons, looking at the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, just looking at all aspects. Something about defining. I was hearing before I started channeling, before I pressed the record button, I was hearing defining chemistry. So there's chemistry that you may have had with someone, and you're starting to really like comb through that and figure out what is the chemistry and exactly what is it. Something about bonds, covalent bonds, somebody having to be bonded out, the balance, the meeting. When I was talking about defining chemistry, something about like looking into like elements and ions and stuff like that. So if you've been looking into that, the periodic table, time periods, or any, it's a very academic, very scholarly energy here. And it's also kind of like alluding to what it is that you've learned over the path of your spiritual journey, or over the walk that you've taken with someone. What have you learned? It's assessment energy. What did I get from it? What did they pour into me? What did I pour into them? Is a mercurial energy, so Gemini, Virgo, but also like an air energy, which again would be so double Gemini, which is twins, which, all right, heavy Gemini energy here, and then also Aquarius and Libra here. But there's a lot of like understanding, communication, thinking, processing, breaking things down. The Virgo energy that I'm getting here is more like the in-depth thought, like really digging. I would say Virgo is the most airy of earth signs, because like sometimes they can be completely out of touch with being able to read the room and completely in their head, to the point of getting so deep into the details that they become disconnected. So there could be somebody here who's doing a lot of overthinking, and once you get into the need to have to overthink something, you're kind of spiraling. So somebody could be like a spiraling energy where a decision is being called for, or maybe you were in a spiraling energy, or for a long time things were spiraling. I'm looking out at the pond right now, and the water is like, some water is going this way, some water is going that way. So tornado energy, something about tornadoes, natural disasters, hurricanes, wind systems, storm surges, stuff like that may be relevant. Somebody may have recently been through that. I know in Dallas, because I'm looking at the D in Destiny, so D-Town, something about Dallas could be relevant. I know they just had some tornado weather, what it was, like cypress or something like that, cypress trees, or something about the trees, you being out amongst the trees, being around trees, you looking at somebody who has a lot of like trees in the background. Could be me. Camping, nature, a lumberjack building, any of these themes could be recent or relevant in your recent experience. Keeping something fresh, the renewing of something. It's like you've been through all seasons with something or someone. Someone has been on your mind like all seasons. Winter, spring, summer, fall. So you've been thinking about this person, or maybe it's somebody who keeps running through your mind a lot, at least a year. You spent at least a year thinking about this person, or coming up on a year, or you've pretty much had them on your mind at this point through all seasons. So maybe if you met them in the winter of last year and now it's fall, well, that's all seasons, at this point, or however that plays out. Even if it ain't been a full calendar year, you've officially been, through all seasons with someone's thought on your mind. And it's like finally being able to come to a decision about where you want to place them or how you want to move forward with this person on a journey, or they're finally coming to a decision about you. With the Hierophant in the third eye position, again, that's that defining chemistry. It's like finally being able to put definitions to something, finally being able to give something meaning. Like you may have had a bunch of random experiences with the person, make a wish, dandelion. Somebody may have wished for someone, and then when it came into them, you didn't believe it and you needed more concrete evidence. Maybe the faith level wasn't as high as it could have been. I think somebody unintentionally did the work to manifest someone, and then once it actually came before them, because that's how it happens when you're busy, like focusing, fixating on something, it kind of evades you. It's repulsed by that, that you keep going after it. It kind of repels it. Because you're putting out a state of I need, I want. And if you're constantly in a state of I need, I want, then that's telling the universe that you don't yet have. So you're just constantly putting out the energy of not having. So it's like as soon as somebody got someone or something off of their mind, or maybe they were heavy thinking about relationships or marriage, or just feeling like with the Hierophant energy is like maturity. Maybe somebody was nearing up on like the 30th birthday, 40th birthday, 50th birthday, and were thinking that they needed to be in a certain place in life. But when they finally let that thought go, it's like boom, there it is. Like something came in heavy with the Hierophant energy, Taurus energy, but also Earth. It could be Capricorn or Taurus, because as I've stated before, Virgo is kind of like, it can be real lightweight and fickle. I mean, they can be there or whatever, but I just don't get much from Virgo energy. So sorry. Not really. But the Hierophant energy is like weightiness, a waiting period or a weightiness. Somebody holds a lot of weight in a person's thought processes, or the reason why somebody has had you on their mind for so long is because you made such an impact. It's like an imprint type energy. When you are raised like in the church, that kind of leaves an imprint on you for the rest of your life. Or if you have like some type of like strong religious or strong structural upbringing, then you kind of live that way, forever. That habit is kind of ingrained in you or instilled in you. Someone's presence may have left like that kind of imprint on you, where a whole year later or seasons later you still like think about them or reminisce on them, or you still have memories of this person, or you still especially with retrograde energy, you still have urges to get back in contact with them, or you still find yourself reminiscing, or you'll hear something on TV, see something out in public, and it'll just remind you of that person. And it's like finally getting to a place of being able to make a decision on how you want to act on that, because somebody is like, I don't want to keep just, ruminating over something. I just want to, get it over with, kind of. It's like a bull in a china shop. Like, let's just go ahead and see what it's going to be. Like, fuck it. Let's just full speed ahead. Let's see what is going to be made of this. And after that, Hierophant energy is the Ace of Wands. So it's like, just fuck it. Balls to the wall, foot to the pedal. Like, I'm seeing like it was a video of a Dodge Charger. Dodge, Barge, Marge. Somebody may have tall hair like Marge Simpson. Barge, somebody may work at the docks, or something about meeting somebody at the docks. Banana boat. I'm not trying to be offensive. That's just what came through. Somebody may be from the islands, Cuba, something like that. Immigrant energy. They're from somebody else. They're from somewhere else. Somebody else may be, how I was saying at the beginning that I'm lenient and all-inclusive about people's higher powers. Maybe they serve a different master than what you were taught to serve, but all of that godly energy, like I said, comes from the Most High God, like the origin point of all things, the source of all things. It just wears different faces because it interacts with different people in different ways. So when something came from somebody else, that's that kind of explanation for that energy. And again, that defining energy just came out. Is like the differences that were happening between the two of you, which may have caused friction in the past. That Ace of Wands, like a butting of heads. It's like you finally starting to understand these things and being able to vocalize them, because this is the throat chakra position, the Ace of Wands. Finally being to vocalize what issues were, exactly what the problems were, or exactly why things didn't work out the way that they could have worked out for the best, or exactly what energies were going on. It's like you're getting a lot of answers. So a lot of revelation. That's that decision making, fates being sealed, revelation. It could be a biblical connotation because the Hierophant was right behind that. So you could be seeing like prophecy play out if you're somebody who has studied the Bible or even read it, just for educational purposes. You may be starting to see some of these things come forth, or you may feel like there's something like otherworldly or magical or biblical or godly about this connection, especially if, it's been a long time and this person is still over on your mind and this person's energy is still coming to you. You may find that to be like something, revelations or biblical, or people going through spiritual awakening could be seeing some like common themes with their relationships and like maybe relationships of the Bible. Hopefully you're not sticking too close to it, because a lot of that was like meant to cast a negative light on women. This could also be somebody who was like kind of leaving from religion, because it does have kind of like a patriarchal, unfair, toxic masculinity undertone to it. Or maybe you're just getting more into spirituality. It's more like a push toward addressing things that have been cast onto the feminine energy. And that could be a part of the decision making. Like somebody is looking at, maybe a feminine energy and deciding, oh, well, they're not a bad person. This isn't a bad woman. This is actually somebody I would like to spend time with. Somebody who has shown and proven themselves over time to be a good person, a steady person, a peaceful person. So I shouldn't maybe listen to what my upbringing told me about, women who look like this, or women who are from this religion, or women who are of, more spiritual than religious. So somebody could be like breaking away from religious dogma, religious biases, and just actually making decisions based off their personal experience with a person, which is what you're supposed to do anyway. In the heart position, we have the Ace of Baskets. So it's like, does this person pour into me? And it's giving that you have poured into a person. You've poured so much into them, so much so that they have remembrance of you. When they just out minding their own business, things are happening that are causing them to consider you. Things are coming into their, line of vision that are causing them to reminisce about you, or you about them. Either way, it's like a good feeling. And I think whoever this is, whatever your spirituality is, which seems to be a big energy here, whatever your spirituality is, whatever your preference, whatever your thinking, whatever your upbringing is like you're starting to trust more in how your heart feels, more so than trying to, like pick apart. Because that's that Virgo energy, like me. And I just have a natural kind of repulsion to that Virgo energy in this reading. And it's because like that pick apart type energy, like you going too far into details, like you overthinking it, you doing too much. And you like making things heavier with all the overthinking. Like you study long, you study wrong is what I get. Like somebody may be telling you that, you feel that about somebody else. You may feel like somebody studied too long and studied wrong, or they took too long to come back, or they feel like you took too long to come back, and they've decided to make a decision based off that. Because time is a thing here, and Father Time has his arms folded in this case. Your ancestors may be pleading on your behalf. I don't feel like it would be you. It's like it's too much discipline. So you may be more of the persuasion where you'll just let somebody just go and feel like, if they feel like I took too long, or this may be what the other person is thinking. Like if somebody is thinking, if they feel like I took too long, then that's fine. I figured I would just see and just go ahead and, shoot my shot. Because it is a shoot my shot energy with the Ace of Wands in the throat position. Like somebody just go ahead and addressing something head on, like, hey, I was thinking about you, or, reaching out to somebody, pushing a text through, sending a call through, just reaching out in some type of way, liking a picture on social media, just making themselves known in some type of way or form, and just kind of seeing where it goes from there. But if somebody makes a decision that they don't want to, move forward with you, I don't feel like that's going to cause anybody to lose themselves. I don't see that happening here. In the solar plexus position is the Nine of Wands. Like you have that love within yourself. So any curiosity where you want to reach out to somebody, or you want to vocalize something and just, put gas to the, pedal to the metal, just, go do the dash in the situation, It's not out of desperation. It's not because you feel incomplete on the inside. It's because you want to stand for yourself and you don't want to have that what if. It's like somebody is beyond, you know, allowing things to just happen, and they are more so taking control of their destiny, but not in a desperate way where you're just wanting, needing and repelling something, but more in the way of, okay, well, this is what I want. I'm gonna go see about what it is, and if, you know, it comes to me that this is not what it's gonna be, then it's just not what it's gonna be, and you're okay with that. You're okay with releasing something after that point. In the sacral position is the 7 of baskets, because you realize that, you know, this is an abundant universe. So I mean, not to be like, you know, gigolo type, you know, energy, or like, you know, for the streets or whatever. But you know, what one won't do, another one will. Like, there's always more. Like, there's no one person is ever the end of your road. You should never invest so much into someone that it becomes a dead end, where you can be like looped in and you can be trapped up like that. 7 of baskets, there's just too much. There's just too much out here. There's just too much to, you know, there's plenty of fish in the sea. Plenty of fish in the sea, I'll say that. But you also don't want to be out here just doing any old thing. So if you have somebody that you do find a specific interest in, you are willing to put your all into it and, you know, gamble on the situation and see if it's something that will work for you. And if it's not something that'll work for you, then you're willing to just let it go. That the root chakra is devil. And a lot of times devil energy is like attachments, you know, soul ties, things that you can't let go of, like cravings that you just need. And the lover's energy is here. So at some point, like I said in the beginning, somebody may have been in an energy of, oh, I need to get this, I need to have this, and if I don't have this, then I'm not going to be complete at this time. But it's like when you just let things flow with that Gemini energy, the lovers, when you figure out a better place to fixate that energy, when you find out a better place to, I guess that's the spiritual nature of everything that I've been talking about here, especially with the Hierophant here, because this is that would be the 3rd. Well, then the strength, it would be the 4th. It would be the 4th major arcana. That's what it's called. I don't know if she was talking to us or what, but I don't know her. But the strength card, it's like somebody, I don't know, it's like a soul awakening, or is somebody's mind is getting stronger, or somebody's spirituality, their faith is getting stronger, or even better than faith is their knowing. Their knowing is getting stronger. Their self-reflection is getting stronger. You know, with the 4 of baskets, it's like they're really starting to understand what makes me happy, what I do like, what I don't like, what makes me tick. And it's moving less from well, I need to have this relationship by age such and such, or, you know, at this point in my life, I should be married and, you know, on PTA and stuff like that, or a soccer mom. Like, it becomes less of trying to meet a rubric of what life should look like or what relationships look like. And it's more of okay, so that energy of like wanting or manifesting, or that desire, which is what this really is, the desires of my heart. I'm figuring out how to have them, but in a balanced way. And I'm figuring how to direct that desired energy in a way that is actually functional. It's like spirituality, it's practical type of energy. And it begins with, you know, like, well, first let me fall in love with myself. So somebody has been given the time. Maybe that was the separation. Maybe that was the, you know, being off in the world and experiencing things, but you keep going back to one person. It's like you're figuring out what the natural connection is, what the natural desire is with the lovers and the devil card. Not somebody that you feel like, well, this person just has to come in and feel this need, and there's this desperation around it. It shouldn't be any desperation around it. It should be, you know, this is what I like, this is what I want. I'm making a grown decision. I'm moving forward because this is something that I want to kind of see where it can go. I'm making a conscious decision with the destiny card. It's like, you're not giving over your destiny so that you can later come back and say, well, somebody forced me to do this, or somebody was in their feelings, so, you know, I felt like I had to do such and such and such. It's like, no, we're not doing none of that, because you're not going to be able to blame me for nothing. And I'm not trying to cuff you like that. Like, if you want to be with me, then be with me. If not, then okay, I'll move along, because I know that there is somebody out here, somewhere who will be able to give me what it is that I want. And that mentality itself is exactly what is manifesting all the options. So you may go from having some person who sits on your mind all the time to all of a sudden being like flooded with a bunch of different options because you let go of that need to have one specific person. You know, with the devil and the lovers and the strength, it's like you've gotten a hold of that fixation on needing somebody. The 10 of knives and the 2 of coins. It's like somebody may have dreaded that process of having to like go out and meet new people in the dating process or the networking, getting to know people. Somebody may have dreaded that at some point. Or maybe they felt like they were already in it too long. Maybe somebody felt like they had already played the field too much and were just ready to take it on in. But you know, energy don't just run into a wall like that. It's not that type of linear. It's like cyclical. So, you know, it fades, it ebbs and flows. So just because you decide, you know, on a Tuesday that you want to stop playing the field, that don't mean that by Thursday you're going to, you know, be in a relationship. And it could happen. Anything is possible. But, you know, spirituality is practical. If your 6D motion, if your momentum is playing the field for so long, then it may be a while before you actually find the person that you want to settle down with, because all of the energies that you've put out into the universe of just being, you know, kind of, maybe a little bit loosey-goosey, maybe a little bit, you know, for the streets, or maybe more just prominence in the environment, that spreading yourself thin energy may take a while to kind of die down, especially if you was really, you know, heavy out here messing with a lot of women. And that could be something that somebody was having to deal with. Maybe they were in that gigolo energy for such a long time that when they finally got, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s, and they decide, okay, I'm ready to settle down. Well, you can't just hard and fast stop and control the energies that are coming into you, because now basically the universe is on autopilot. It's been feeding you all of these options that you wanted. You know what I'm saying? That's what you manifested. You was with that kind of, you know, loose, mixy type of energy. That's what you were manifesting. A whole bunch of like maybe randoms and a plentiful supply of people to keep your attention. So it's not for you to get disappointed when the thing that you want doesn't necessarily come in as soon as you want it to come in. It's not for you to get like skittish or to worry that what you want is not going to be available to you. It's just you have to kind of wait for that energy to die down, because for so long that's what it is that you were manifesting. And that could have been that period of like thinking of one person over seasons, that year or more, or, you know, 4 or more seasons, 3 or more seasons, basically. I'll say 4 or more seasons of knowing somebody and having them continue to come back to your remembrance. And it could be the more people that they dealt with, the more they kept thinking about one person, or the more they kept thinking about you. The more people you dealt with, the more you realized that you really wanted that one person. They may have somewhat become like the standard. Chariot and the moon, it's a lot of major arcana cards here. So there's definitely somebody who is at the top of your mind, somebody that you kind of like, you take them a little more serious than you take everybody else, or you kind of like hold them to a different standard. That could be how you make decisions now. You could kind of have somebody that you weigh up another person against. With that black and white here, somebody may be the standard or the tester, or they just kind of represent an archetype of like the one for you. And that's okay. Not saying that you have to fixate on that one person, but at least you now have a template of what it is that you want, so that you'll know it when you see it, and that you're not out here so desperately looking for it or trying to fit people into a certain mold so that you can have that. So it's like better decision making. Again, somebody's taking their destiny into their own hands, especially in terms of like love, because now you know what fulfills you within. And again, that goes back to the beginning of the reading, where you, unless you have that feminine and masculine balance within yourself, you're not going to know what it is that you want. And also, you'll take rejection a lot personally. Let's say, you know, you've been thinking about somebody, you shoot your shot, especially during a retrograde, and, you know, things don't turn out the way that you want it to turn out. You are less likely to like spiral and, you know, move into a dark place now, because it's like, okay, well, you know, that didn't work out. You have that abundant mindset. You know that, you know, you miss one, next 15, one coming type energy. You know, everything will be okay. You know, you'll be all right. It's just a lot of more mature thought processing. That father time thing is here. So it's something about the time period when you met a person who continues to be on your mind, or the time that you spent with someone and what you learned over the time that you spent with them, or the relationship that y'all had, like the lessons that they instilled in you, or not even instilled in you, just like the way that you began to see changes in yourself. I'm kind of hearing somebody made me a woman, or that they made me a man. So you could be just thinking about the person who kind of changed your beliefs about relationships, or who made you start, or not even made you, but just the person who was the catalyst for you behaving a little different, for you seeing things a little differently. And whatever this difference is kind of affecting how you behave in relationships and with connections. Now, you don't move into things with like a state of desperation. You move into things like knowing, okay, does this make me happy? And right off back, if it don't, like I tell y'all, people block early and often. You know not to waste people's time, and you don't allow people to waste your time. But then when you see something, it's like, well, I'm not going to play around with it. I'm going to go ahead and move forward and see, if this is what I want. And if it's not what I want, or if I'm not what they want, then okay, then I'll move along. At least I tried. But it's not like a victimized energy. It's not like a desperate, needy, clingy energy here anymore. It's like you've been delivered from that. Because it's like you are the main focus. You're the star of your own show, and you have that kind of discipline built up. The structure that you would want in a relationship, and you look for that, a person who is structured, a person who has the experience, so that they don't feel like they're losing anything by being in the connection with you. This is not the energy of somebody who would settle down with a person who kind of like jokes about being tied down. Like if somebody is showing you signs of, I ain't trying to be tied down right now, like you're just, all right, deuces. You're not trying to convince nobody anymore. Again, it's taking full responsibility for your own destiny. You're not ignoring red flags. You're not trying to persuade anybody to move into a connection with you. You know exactly what it is that you want. And shout out to the person who kind of ignited that thought process in you. Even if you don't end up with that person, everything all works for your good. That interaction, that experience, that knowledge that you gained in that connection, and especially like the reminiscing that you've done, and like how you see things in 2020 vision in hindsight, just being able to assess. And that's a Mercury retrograde energy right there. Like during retrograde periods, you really see just how much you learned from an experience, or just what all you gained from an experience, even if it didn't work out for you, a connection, a relationship, even if it didn't go the distance. It's like, dang, I took something that I can carry with me for the rest of my life. Something that maybe I didn't even realize it helped me to ascend as much as it did. I didn't even realize that connection poured into me as much as it did. Somebody realizing that another person poured into them a lot is the very thing that is causing them to like shoot their shot, or like come out of hiding, or initiate contact. But again, if it doesn't play out the way that you want it to, it's not that you needed that person to reciprocate the contact. It's that you was just seeing where it go. Like you offer yourself that chance now. You don't hide in the shadows with the moon in the chariot. You're not afraid of rejection so much. You don't crave and need connection so much that you'll hide in the shadows until somebody makes it certain that they'll be the one for you forever. That's kind of a childish way of thinking. And somebody has definitely moved out of a childish way of thinking with this destiny card. A lot of maturity. The ancestors may also be kind of interceding on your behalf. Like if it is somebody who poured a lot into you, but maybe you were not at a level of maturity to take the relationship far at that point, then you may have some intercession going on, where that person may have experiences that sit them down, and they may be introduced to the remembrances that you have of them. If you have been thinking about, all that a connection poured into you, then that change happening within you can also like, a two-way beam into the other person, and they start feeling it too. That's something along the lines of that defining chemistry and covalent bonding and electrical charges and stuff that I was talking about at the beginning of the reading, like defining chemistry. It may start with one and then it transfers to the other, like negative, positive charges. If one person got it and the other person doesn't have it, then they're more likely to attract, opposites attract based on it, versus, somebody who, oh, well, I get it already, and the other person is already like, well, I know, I get it. And both of them hard-headed. You can't tell neither one of them nothing. That's less likely to come together. Somebody who on one side, you thinking about something, you like, dang, okay, I get where they was coming from, or I get how that happened. And another person, like, you know, not even thinking about it, that's more likely to come back together, because that's that free will energy. It's like you're not forcing nothing, you're not desperate about nothing. It's just two people following their own spiritual paths. When I get that gray energy, the gray matter is like a conscious spirit. When it's the other card colors, these are like the chakra colors. But when it's gray like that, that's like basically all of the colors, you know, together. Cast through a light, you know, the depths of space, and then the white light like coming together. So black, white, gray matter. And gray matter is your consciousness. So this is just like conscious thinking, and this is also consciousness that can move between back and forth between two people, that can bring a connection together or a bond together, or it can just cause you to be more bonded within yourself, because you are grateful and thankful for the connection, versus feeling like you were jaded somehow, or feeling like resentful because things didn't work out the way you wanted to. It's just a whole lot of maturity happening here. So however it takes, however you take it, however it resonates, I hope that this has been helpful for you, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.